of that. Be very appreciative of how lucky you are to see the sunrise. You know, each day that comes, recognize that you have that day ahead of you to go and kick ass. And that's all you should focus on, is that day, and that day only. And then there was training with our SEAL guys, which is completely different mentality. They always say embrace the suck, and there's a lot of sucking. Everything about it sucks. Usually I'll train before we go into work. Usually our work day starts around 6 or 7 in the morning, so I'll usually hit the gym at like 3:34, and then I'll train for a good hour and a half, and then go to work, and then we'll be on set for 10-12 hours up in the mountains, run up and down hills with about 100 pounds of gear on us all day. But in order to be able to run up and down these hills with this gear on, you have to be able to train this. You can't fake this. There's something about it when you're training that hard and that focused. I really feel like, the earth, you're seeing things a little clearer, like the colors on the tree and in the ocean are just a little bit brighter. Like you've got a clear head, like you're aware of a lot more things when you're putting that much focus in on training and health and fitness, and I think those things really go hand in hand. Success, the greatest wealth in life is health, right? So if you take that and use your health, get as healthy as possible, and focus that on success, I think is a good combination. And then you're through that success comes wealth. It's just this great circle. But taking care of yourself first is 100% needed in any successful thing in life, whether it's a relationship or whether it's, business. Just learn one more thing that you didn't know yesterday. That's all I ask, is one more thing. Just get slightly better each day. Whatever it is. If you did 4 push-ups yesterday, do 5 push-ups today. Just do one thing better than you did yesterday, so then you feel like there's growth every day. And it doesn't have to be big. If you did 6 steps, do 6.5 the next day. So every day there's a little goal within yourself. Well, whatever that it is you did one more thing than you did. So you're constantly growing and improving. I remember I had a conversation with myself in my rear view mirror, and I was like, do I go back to Canada? And because I was 26 at the time, and and I'm living in my car, it's just, there's not, supposed to be living the dream. I left Vancouver and I made it, like people think that I've made it, and I hadn't. But then I really kind of, started thinking, I was like, look, I've got everything right now. I've got my health. I'm chasing my dream. I got people that believe in me. I have a legitimate agent. So maybe I do have everything. Material wise, I'm struggling a little bit, but I have everything that I need right now at this moment that I need to get a job. And it's just, I needed to focus in on I needed to stop worrying about, the next 3 or 4 years and just focus what I could control. And that was being completely focused and present on the work and tasks that I had at hand to get me out of the situation that I was in. And being okay with telling people that I had no money. And I think that I was broke and that I was struggling, and lose my ego over that, because I wasn't raised that way. My father never raised me that way. We didn't grow up with money. It never defined us. So I kind of gotten lost in this sort of flashy town of like, yeah, you're doing great. Everybody asks how you're doing down here, and people tell you what jobs they've just worked on, as opposed to telling you how you're actually doing. Your work defines you as opposed to your character. I had done a couple episodes, and I was in the parking lot, and I had like $32.95. I was in a 7-Eleven parking lot, and that's all I had in my bank account. And I actually have that framed in my office. And my phone rang, and it was my manager saying that they wanted to do a 7-year deal with me at CBS, and it like completely changed my life, like going 0 to 60 in a Tesla, and it just everything changed. For the better. I'm like, I went out and got like an apartment that day. I didn't just get an apartment, I got a great one. I got an apartment and bought a pool table. And my parents had come down to celebrate, And they came in, I didn't even have a bed or anything. And there was a pool, these guys were putting up a pool table. And Mom's like, where's your bed or your plates? I'm like, I haven't bought that yet. And I'm like, she's like, you bought a pool table? I'm like, I've always wanted to buy a pool table. She's like, Jesus Christ, AJ. it's great though, we can play pool. She's like, well, where are you going to sleep? And I'm like, I've got my car outside. It's like reading a chapter, and until you understand what happened in that chapter, you can never go to the next chapter. So you have to go back and read it again. And I feel like that was happening in my life. I had to, until I understood where I was, the next part wasn't going to happen. I was a dog chasing its tail. So I had to be okay with myself and where I was, and kind of zero in on what my goal was. And instead of, taking the foot off the gas and going out and hanging out with people that really didn't give a shit about anything, I needed to sort of bring the circle small and put the focus back on myself. And have that hunger again to get up and get after it. Today, it's stronger than ever, even with the success that I have now. The more that you are dialed in, the more that the needle moves.